Good morning, welcome to Bitcoin Bounce. My name is Joseph. I'm here with Dion. Today I'm looking at some really good crypto news, especially about Bitcoin and Ethereum. So there was an interview with Paul Tudor Jones. He's a legendary investment broker and he has very high expectations for Bitcoin and Ethereum. And I just thought, when a guy like that would have a positive viewpoint on it, that's definitely good for us. So what's interesting of this news that's coming out today is that 11% of all Ethereum is staked. So I own a little bit of Ethereum, but I just bought Ethereum in Binance, like a spot trade. And so in Binance I have Ethereum. So and then I wondered that I now stack Ethereum or not. So I want to ask Dion, did I stack my Ethereum, or what's the difference between staking Ethereum and just buying it on spot?
Hi Joseph. No, so if you've just bought it on spot, then it's just in your wallet and it would just lie there. It wouldn't earn anything for you except the actual Ethereum growth or loss in Ethereum. So if your Ethereum drops, obviously you'd be losing money. When you stake it, you actually take that money, you would give it to Binance, and normally there's like a fixed period to it, which could be anything from a day to a year, 2 years, 3 years, 3 months, whatever. So they often have dates to it, but sometimes not. Sometimes you can just stake it, and then you get paid just an interest on that, which I think they pay daily. Some of them the exchanges would pay daily, others would pay weekly, monthly, and so on. So it's basically like in South Africa, we just have a fixed deposit. If instead of earning say 5% with money in your bank, in your savings account, you could give it to the bank for 3 months and commit that you can't withdraw it, and then they would give you 10% interest rate on that. So it's basically just that they're paying you, and by doing that you actually help the coin and help fund the coin and make it a more solid investment. If X amount of people stake it, it just makes for the coin to have a solid foundation because it has lots of long-term investors.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, so what's interesting also in the news for today is BNY Mellon. It's a very big investment broker. They offer Bitcoin and Ethereum to their clients. Now, most of the big investment brokers don't want anything to do with crypto, but some of the big ones that are starting to give the investors crypto as an option to invest in means billions and billions of dollars are now going to pour out into Bitcoin. And so there was, I think over this last 2 weeks, probably the biggest amount of investment brokers opening up the possibility for big investors to invest in crypto through a broker. So that's really good news for Bitcoin, because that means Bitcoin can now easily start to run up, because Bitcoin is relatively small to some of the other investments out there where money is poured into. So we're also going to look at Google integrates Etherscam. There's some Uniswap news. MetaMask adds instant banking to crypto transfers, which means the public can now easier access crypto to do payments and also to withdraw. And then here's an interesting one: 13% of all Canadians own Bitcoin. I think El Salvador is the country where the most people own Bitcoin percentage-wise. But Canada is a Western country, and a lot of people in Canada own Bitcoin. So the more people own Bitcoin, the more people is going to pour money into Bitcoin, the more our Bitcoin money is going to go up. Also, this Paul Tudor Jones, he explains that the more America and the West fall into recession, the more Bitcoin is just going to go up and up and up. And we haven't actually entered into the recession. The numbers shows us that the recession is coming, but we haven't actually felt the consequences of the recession. So probably in 3 to 6 months from now, people are really going to start feeling it. Now they do feel it when they buy their food and their petrol, but they now still using up their reserves. When people used up all their savings money and start losing their jobs, then the recession is really going to kick in, and that's at that time where Bitcoin is going to kind of hold its value while all the other currencies fall. So it might look on a chart as if Bitcoin is really going up, but really what actually happens, all the currencies are falling. And so Bitcoin would be a really good way to hold a value, So okay, but let's jump in and go to some of this news. We are listening to a clip that was compiled by Altcoin Daily. So I just want to give them also a shout out. Thank you very much for that. Let's listen.
Something like crypto, specifically Bitcoin and Ethereum, where there's a finite amount of that will have value at some point, someday. I don't know when that will be, but it will have value. That's scarcity.
And the value at a much higher number than where we are today.
Oh, I think so, yeah.
Like?
If you think about every decade, the 70s were the decade of inflation. The 80s was a decade of kind of boom-bust, huge swings in dollar volatility. The 90s was equitization, the dot-com bubble. The aughts was the mortgage bubble and the great financial crisis. The teens were the peak of globalization and probably the peak of central bank experimentation with monetary policy, right? The 20s, I'm afraid, are going to be that period where we really focus on debt dynamics country by country, fiscal deficits, and the need to run certainly fiscal policy in a way that gives people confidence in the long-run value of the currency. In a time when there's too much money, which is why we have inflation, and too much fiscal spending, something like crypto, specifically Bitcoin and Ethereum, where there's a finite amount of that will have value at some point, someday. I don't know when that will be, but it will have value. That's scarcity.
And the value at a much higher number than where we are today.
Oh, I think so, yeah.
Like?
Legendary investor Paul Tudor Jones has reaffirmed his belief in cryptocurrency, saying that scarce digital assets will have value in the future. Bitcoin and Ethereum will go much higher post-recession. Paul Tudor Jones has said that Bitcoin and Ethereum could benefit from rising inflation and weak macroeconomic conditions due to their scarcity. He argued that the U.S. economy is either in or heading for a recession, and that markets can rally if the Federal Reserve stops hiking interest rates to combat inflation. Stanley Druckenmiller shared similar views to Jones last month, pointing out that economic turmoil could highlight crypto's value. Paul Tudor Jones is bullish on scarce assets. In a time where there's too much money, something like crypto, specifically Bitcoin and Ethereum, will have a much higher value in the future. This information needs to get out there. Show this post some love. Of course, Paul Tudor Jones has been bullish on Bitcoin for a while, recently becoming an Ethereum bull. Ethereum is a scarce asset according to legendary investor Paul Tudor Jones. Makes sense, right? Ethereum is a more scarce asset than when Paul Tudor Jones originally got into Bitcoin. Ethereum becomes deflationary for the first time since the merge. BNY Mellon, America's oldest bank, now holds Bitcoin and Ethereum for its clients. Huge news. Wall Street Journal reporting this. America's oldest bank, BNY Mellon, has just received the green light to start receiving crypto on behalf of its customers. This comes after receiving approval from the New York State Department of Financial Services. This is a big deal for cryptocurrency. Why? Because BNY Mellon's conviction in crypto should instill confidence in the asset class among other big names on Wall Street. Founded by Alexander Hamilton in 1784, BNY Mellon is America's oldest bank. It oversees more than $2 trillion in assets under management, most of which comes from wealthy fund managers. And now those wealthy fund managers can add both Bitcoin and Ethereum to their portfolio. Confidence in Ethereum continues to increase. Over 14.2 million ETH are now being staked on Ethereum. That's over 11.7% of circulating ETH. At current prices, that's over $17 billion securing Ethereum through proof of stake. Google getting on board. You can now Google balances of Ethereum addresses. This new feature saves searchers time. from visiting Etherscan, returning balances directly in your search result. Google is now providing data on Ethereum addresses via its search engine. The world's biggest website now tells you how much ETH some wallets hold when you punch an Ethereum address into the search bar. You can see that in the future, cryptocurrency is just going to be naturally integrated in everyday life. But if you're part of cryptocurrency today, we're seeing the steps being taken to make that happen. Today versus years ago, there's so many great cryptocurrency products in the market. Uniswap, we're proud to announce that we've raised $1.65 million in Series B funding to bring the powerful simplicity of Uniswap to even more people across the world. Uniswap now has a unicorn brand and a unicorn valuation. Using the Uniswap DEX was my aha moment in DeFi. MetaMask now lets US users buy cryptocurrencies directly from their bank accounts. MetaMask continues to push for leadership in the cryptocurrency wallet industry, offering new tools that make it easier for its users to purchase crypto. You'll love to see it. Cryptocurrency now has lobbying groups to lobby in favor of crypto. The US Treasury is being sued by CoinCenter over the Tornado Cash ban. CoinCenter is suing the US Treasury over its controversial Tornado Cash sanctions. What you need to know is this. Cryptocurrency advocacy group CoinCenter has filed suit against the Treasury Department over its unilateral imposition of sanctions on Tornado Cash. The implications of the case are far-reaching. As things stand, the Treasury could theoretically sanction any software it sees fit. This arguably poses an existential threat to virtually every protocol in the industry, at least in America. Again, one of my big takeaways is now we have multiple lobbying groups helping educate Washington on cryptocurrency. People are buying Bitcoin all over the world. A new study shows that Bitcoin ownership in Canada rose sharply in 2021. This is according to a new study just published by the Bank of Canada, in fact showing 13% of Canadians own some Bitcoin. This week, researchers from the Bank of Canada published the central bank's Financial System Review, which highlighted 5 key statistics tethered to Canadian Bitcoin owners. According to the Bank of Canada's metric, 13% of Canadians own the leading crypto asset Bitcoin, and most Canadians are aware of Bitcoin. This is that chart in chart graph form. Wonderful to see. My question is, what will this chart look like for 2022? Dear Kanye West, we're sending you this letter to confirm our recent discussion with your representative that JP Morgan Chase Bank has decided to end its banking relationship with Yeezy LLC and its affiliated entities. Kanye West just got unbanked from JP Morgan Chase. If it can happen to Kanye, it can happen to the little people without a voice. And people are starting to notice that the legacy, centralized, permissioned banking system, financial system, is not good enough. We need open, we need decentralized, permissionless systems that come in crypto.
Alright guys, thank you. That's all I had for us for today. Thank you, Dion. We're going to be back here tomorrow. Dion's going to hopefully have another signal for us. Don't forget to watch our previous video. Dion gave us an analysis of where to buy Algorand, and there's a possible 20% profit in that. So have a fantastic day. Thank you, Dion. Good job.
Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Cheers.